Denmark allowed to be taken by the United States. The United States has shown interest in buying Greenland from Denmark. This has started many talks about what this could mean. Greenland's location and resources make it appealing to the US. This move could change global politics and economies a lot. The US wanting Greenland is not new. But recent talks have made it a big topic again. People are worried about Greenland's future and its people. Thinking about the past and what might happen next is key. A US buy would affect Greenland's economy, environment, and its people. Buying Greenland from Denmark raises big questions. It's about who gets to decide, how it will grow, and protecting the environment. The world is watching closely. It's a complex issue that needs careful thought. Key takeaways. 1. The United States has expressed interest in acquiring Greenland from Denmark. 2. The potential transfer of ownership has significant implications for global politics and economies. 3. The U.S. interest in Greenland is driven by the island's strategic location and natural resources. 4. The potential Greenland acquisition would likely have far-reaching implications for the island's economy, environment, and indigenous population. 5. The transfer of Greenland would require careful consideration of the potential benefits and drawbacks for all parties involved. 6. The U.S. government must consider the historical context and the potential consequences of a U.S. acquisition of Greenland. Breaking news. Greenland will be taken over by the United States. The news of the United States possibly taking over Greenland has shocked people worldwide. As Denmark's position on this issue becomes more critical, many are curious about its impact on Greenland's autonomous status. This move could greatly affect both countries, leading to many questions about its consequences. The status of Greenland's autonomous status is now under close watch. Since 1979, Greenland has had some control over its affairs. But this could change with the transfer. Denmark's position is key, as it has handled Greenland's foreign and defense matters for years. 1. Potential changes to Greenland's autonomous status. 2. Denmark's position on the transfer and its implications. 3. Global reactions to the news and potential consequences. Latest diplomatic announcements. Recent comments from officials have given us some insight. As everyone waits, one thing is clear: the future of Greenland's autonomous status is uncertain. And Denmark's position will be crucial in shaping its outcome. Historical background of U.S. interest in Greenland. The United States has always been interested in Greenland. This interest is mainly because of the island's strategic value. The U.S. saw Greenland's military and natural resource potential during the Cold War. Some key events show the U.S. interest in Greenland. 1. 1946. The United States offered to buy Greenland from Denmark for $100 million. 2. 1951. The U.S. and Denmark signed a defense agreement. 2. This allowed the U.S. to set up military bases in Greenland. 3. 1970s. The U.S. wanted to use Greenland's natural resources, like oil and minerals. Greenland's location is why it's so important. It gives access to the Arctic and its resources. The U.S. has military bases there, adding to its strategic value. Even though Denmark has turned down U.S. offers to buy Greenland, recent events have made the island interesting again. This is because of its strategic location and natural resources. In summary, the U.S. interest in Greenland is complex. The island's strategic importance is a big reason. As the U.S. continues to show interest, understanding the historical context is key. Denmark's position on the transfer. Denmark's stance on Greenland possibly joining the United States is complex. The Danish government values Greenland's freedom and self-rule. Polls show Danes are split, with some backing the move and others against it. The constitutional implications are big, affecting Denmark's power and Greenland's freedom. The Danish government says any deal must protect both countries' rights and interests. Official Danish government statements. The Danish government wants a careful and negotiated approach. They stress the importance of respecting Greenland's freedom and self-governance. Public opinion in Denmark. Opinions in Denmark are mixed. A recent survey revealed 1. 40% of respondents supported the transfer. 2. 30% opposed the transfer. 3. 30% were undecided. Constitutional implications. The transfer's impact on Denmark's sovereignty and Greenland's freedom is significant. The Danish government emphasizes the need for careful talks to safeguard both countries' rights. Greenland's autonomous status and rights. Greenland has a special deal with Denmark, letting it make many of its own decisions. The idea of Greenland joining the United States worries many about its freedom and the rights of its people. Indigenous peoples' rights are key, as the Inuit have a rich culture and way of life to keep safe. Changing Greenland's status could shake up who makes decisions there. It's vital to think about how this might affect Greenland's autonomous status and the rights of its people. We must make sure their culture and interests are looked after. 1. Preservation of indigenous peoples' rights and cultural heritage. 2. Protection of Greenland's natural resources and environment. 3. Maintenance of self-governance and decision-making authority. We need to talk openly with the Inuit and others to address these worries. By focusing on indigenous peoples' rights and Greenland's autonomous status, we can create a future that values and protects this unique place. Strategic importance of Greenland. Greenland is key in global politics for many reasons. Its spot in the North Atlantic makes it perfect for military bases. This gives any country a big advantage in the area. The US has always been interested in Greenland because of its close location to the Arctic and the North Atlantic. The strategic importance of Greenland also comes from its natural resources like oil, gas, and minerals. Its Arctic location is crucial for fighting climate change. Greenland's ice sheets and glaciers help us understand global warming. As the Arctic's military significance grows, so will Greenland's role. Key benefits of Greenland's strategic location. 1. Access to the North Atlantic and Arctic regions. 2. Proximity to major shipping lanes and trade routes. 3. Potential for natural resource extraction and economic development. 4. Strategic advantage for military bases and defense operations. As the world gets more connected, Greenland's importance will keep rising. It's a vital spot for any country wanting to influence the area. With its military value, natural resources, and geopolitical benefits, Greenland is set to shape global politics in the future. Economic implications of the transfer. The transfer of Greenland from Denmark to the United States has big economic effects. The U.S. plans for Greenland development include building new ports and airports. These projects will create jobs and boost the economy. But there are worries about the environmental impact in making sure these projects are sustainable. Some key economic benefits of the transfer are: 1. More investment in Greenland's infrastructure. 2. Jobs in construction and tourism. 3. Better access to resources like fish and minerals. The economic implications also depend on the deal between the US and Denmark. It's important that the agreement is fair and good for both sides. It must also consider Greenland's needs and concerns. It's vital to balance the economic benefits with environmental and social impacts. By carefully looking at the U.S. plans for Greenland development and the economic implications, we can build a bright future for Greenland. Environmental considerations and climate change impact. When thinking about Greenland moving from Denmark to the United States, we must consider the environment. The area's delicate ecosystem is at risk from climate change impact. Any change must focus on keeping the environment safe. Managing natural resources is key. Greenland has lots of minerals and fish. We must extract these in a way that doesn't harm the planet. This can be done with environmental protection agreements and working together globally to fight climate change. Here are some ways to make Greenland more sustainable. 1. Using renewable energy like wind and hydropower. 2. Practicing sustainable fishing and seafood harvesting. 3. Extracting minerals and mining responsibly. By focusing on the environment and climate change, Greenland's move can be good for everyone. We need international help and agreements to protect the area's resources for the future. Indigenous peoples' rights and perspectives. The transfer of Greenland to the United States worries many about indigenous peoples' rights and cultural preservation. The Inuit, who have lived there for centuries, have a rich culture and way of life. It's important to respect and keep their heritage alive. The Inuit are worried about how this change might affect their rights and culture. They want promises that their rights and heritage will be safe. This includes protecting their lands, hunting and fishing rights, and their right to govern themselves. Inuit community responses: the Inuit are deeply involved in this discussion. They've made it clear they won't agree to anything that doesn't respect their rights and culture. They also want more control over their lands and resources. Cultural preservation guarantees to calm the Inuits' worries. We need to make sure their culture is protected. This could mean setting aside protected areas, keeping traditional hunting and fishing alive, and supporting their language and culture. By focusing on their rights and culture, we can make sure Greenland's transfer respects the Inuit. It's vital to understand the significance of Indigenous peoples' rights and cultural preservation in Greenland's transfer. By doing this, we can work towards a future that honors the Inuits' rights and preserves their unique culture. International law and treaty implications: the move of Greenland from Denmark to the United States brings up big questions. These questions involve international law and treaty implications. The process must follow the rules of current treaties and agreements, like the Treaty of Kiel and the Ilulissat Declaration. Some important things to think about are: 1. Respecting Greenland's own rules and rights. 2. Following international law and standards. 3. How the transfer might change existing treaties and agreements. Understanding international law and treaty implications well is key. This helps make the transfer smooth. It's also important to think about how the transfer might affect the world and the need for working together. By focusing on international law and treaty implications, the United States and Denmark can work well together. This ensures a good transfer that helps everyone involved. Future U.S. plans for Greenland development: the United States has plans for Greenland's growth, focusing on infrastructure projects and economic development initiatives. These plans aim to boost the island's economy and raise the standard of living for its people. The U.S. plans to invest in renewable energy, upgrade transportation, and boost tourism. A key part of these plans is the proposed governance structure. It will ensure Greenland's development is sustainable and responsible. This structure will involve the U.S. government, the Greenlandic government, and other stakeholders. They will work together to prioritize the best interests of Greenland's residents. 1. Investing in renewable energy sources, such as wind and hydropower. 2. Improving transportation systems, including airports and seaports. 3. Promoting tourism and supporting local businesses. 4. Developing a governance structure that prioritizes sustainability and responsibility. The U.S. plans for Greenland's development and governance are aimed at economic growth. They aim to improve the living standards of Greenland's residents. By investing in infrastructure and promoting sustainable development, the U.S. supports Greenland's long-term prosperity. Conclusion: the path forward for Greenland's transfer. The move to transfer Greenland to the United States is gaining speed. This step needs careful thought and teamwork. The conclusion must focus on working together, protecting the environment, and respecting Indigenous rights. The path forward should be clear, fair, and good for everyone involved. Dealing with the legal and political hurdles will require teamwork between the U.S., Denmark, and Greenland's government. It's crucial to follow international laws and respect the Inuits' culture and freedom. Also, protecting Greenland's environment and managing resources wisely is key to fighting climate change. The transfer of Greenland comes with its own set of challenges and chances. By working together, listening to everyone's concerns, and choosing a sustainable path, we can make this momentous event a positive step for Greenland and the world. Denmark had allowed itself to be taken over by the United States, a historic heritage above all rich in ore of high value for the country of Denmark. André Dark at André Dark Z7M Assessor SEU Canal Oleao Cordero at Oleaya Cordero G8T Assessor SEU Canal André Cordero de Arajo at Andrezinho 711 Assessor SEU Canal FAQ. What is the current status of the United States' interest in acquiring Greenland from Denmark? The United States wants to buy Greenland from Denmark. But Denmark says no. This has made people all over the world talk about it. What are the potential implications of the United States acquiring Greenland? If the US gets Greenland, it could change a lot. It might affect Greenland's own rules, the rights of the people who live there, and global agreements. It could also lead to more US military presence in the Arctic. How has Denmark responded to the United States' interest in Greenland? Denmark is not selling Greenland to the US. The Danish Prime Minister calls the idea absurd. They say Greenland is part of Denmark and has its own rules. What is the historical background of the United States' interest in Greenland? The US has wanted Greenland since the 1900s. It's because of Greenland's location and natural resources. During the Cold War, the US wanted to keep the Soviet Union out of the Arctic. How would the transfer of Greenland to the United States impact the rights and autonomy of the indigenous Inuit population? If Greenland goes to the US, it could hurt the Inuit people. They have lived there for a long time. Their rights and way of life need to be protected. What are the potential environmental considerations and climate change impacts associated with the transfer of Greenland? Greenland is special because of its environment and role in fighting climate change. Any deal must protect the environment and consider climate change.